The king's golden heart. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a king named Armand. King Armand was known throughout the land for his immense wealth and power, but also for his cold and distant nature. Though he ruled wisely and kept the kingdom prosperous, he was not loved by his people. They feared him because he seemed to care only about gold and riches, and he never showed any warmth or kindness. The king's palace was filled with treasures from every corner of the world. Gold, jewels, and precious artifacts lined the halls, and King Armand's throne was made entirely of pure gold. Yet, despite all his wealth, the king was never truly happy. He was always searching for more riches, thinking that it would bring him the contentment he sought. One day, a traveling magician visited the kingdom and requested an audience with the king. Curious, King Armand granted him permission to enter the palace. The magician, an old man with wise eyes, presented the king with a small golden box. "This box contains something more valuable than all the gold in your kingdom, your majesty," the magician said as he handed it to the king. Intrigued, King Armand opened the box and found a glowing golden heart inside. The heart was warm to the touch and seemed to pulse with a gentle light. "This is the heart of compassion," the magician explained. "It is said that whoever possesses this heart will be blessed with true happiness and the love of their people. But be warned, the heart's power can only be unlocked through acts of kindness and generosity." The king's golden heart. King Armand was skeptical. How could a golden heart bring him more happiness than his vast treasures? Nevertheless, he decided to keep the heart, thinking that perhaps it could add to his wealth in some way. The king placed the golden heart in a special chamber in his palace and continued with his life as before. However, no matter how many riches he acquired, the emptiness in his soul remained. He often found himself gazing at the golden heart, wondering if there was any truth to the magician's words. One day, as the king was walking through the palace gardens, he overheard a conversation between two of his servants. They were talking about a poor family in the kingdom who had fallen on hard times. The father was ill, and they had no money for food or medicine. Moved by their plight, the king felt a strange warmth in his chest, similar to the warmth of the golden heart. Without thinking, King Armand ordered his treasurer to send gold and supplies to the family. It was the first act of kindness he had done in many years, and as soon as he did, he felt a small surge of joy. The warmth in his chest grew stronger, and he suddenly remembered the golden heart in the chamber. Curious, the king went to the chamber to see the heart. To his amazement, the heart was glowing even brighter than before. It seemed to pulse with life, and the light it emitted filled the room with a soft golden glow. Realizing that the magician's words might be true, King Armand decided to continue his acts of kindness. He began to visit the villages in his kingdom, helping those in need. He reduced the taxes on the poor, built schools for the children, and ensured that no one in his kingdom went hungry. With each act of kindness, the golden heart grew brighter and warmer. And with each act, King Armand felt his own heart change. The coldness that had once defined him melted away, replaced by a deep sense of compassion and love for his people. The people of the kingdom noticed the change in their king. No longer did they fear him. Instead, they began to love and respect him. They saw that he was not just a ruler, but a man who genuinely cared for their well-being. Years passed, and the kingdom flourished under King Armand's benevolent rule. The king's once lonely palace was now filled with laughter, music, and the warmth of friendship. The golden heart, now pulsing with a brilliant light, became a symbol of the king's transformation. Years passed, and the kingdom flourished under King Armand's benevolent rule. The king's once lonely palace was now filled with laughter, music, and the warmth of friendship. The golden heart, now pulsing with a brilliant light, became a symbol of the king's transformation. The king's golden heart. On the day of his passing, the golden heart disappeared, leaving behind only a faint glow in the chamber where it had once been kept. The people mourned their beloved king, but they also celebrated the legacy he had left behind, a kingdom where compassion and kindness were valued above all else. King Armand's story was told for generations, and it became known as the tale of the king's golden heart. The people of the kingdom learned that true wealth is not measured in gold and jewels, but in the love and kindness one shows to others. And so the moral of the story is clear. A heart filled with kindness and compassion is worth more than all the treasures in the world, for it brings true happiness and the love of others. This story teaches us that real wealth and happiness come from the kindness and compassion we show to others, and that a heart of gold is one that cares for those around it.